All right, my friends. I just pressed the Let's Go Live button. It's a beautiful Monday. Welcome back. I hope your weekend was incredible. Let's wait for the tubes to connect themselves all across the fruited plain of the interwebs. Before we go ahead and get started, we got business to attend to. We got some classified document filings we've got to unpack here today. And we are going to be doing that just as soon as we confirm that the tubes are working, and it looks like they are. That is tremendous news, my friends. That means we can go ahead and get started. So let's do it, shall we? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Watching the Watchers Live, the show that spotlights misconduct involving police, prosecutors, and politicians. My name is Robert Gouveia. I am a criminal defense attorney, and today we are talking about Florida. Classified documents have been unsealed, not the documents themselves, but documents related to the classified documents. And we're going to go through two different sets of filings. The first thing that has been unsealed is the original search warrant from the feds when they raided Mar-a-Lago. And we remember that. We were here covering it live, and we were, wow, this is pretty shocking. They went in there, and they were rummaging around through everything, including, as we suspect, Melania's private drawers. And we see that they were actually digging into that. So we'll go through this. You can see this is the original search warrant that was redacted all up and down. This came out originally back, I think, in August of 2023 or maybe 2022. We'll take a look at it. We'll go into the dates. I can never remember the dates. You know how I am with the numbers. But that's the original. This is the new. Okay, so redacted and then unredacted, sealed and unsealed. And we're going to pull both those puppies up right next to each other, go through them, and we're going to see what is inside, what they didn't want us to see a long time ago. So that is, of course, coming up. You can see Melania is not very happy that the feds raided her closet. So we'll get that. Then we also need to see what is happening with this motion to dismiss for selective and vindictive prosecution. Walt Nauta, who is a co-defendant in the classified documents case, he submitted this, and there have been some rumors that a vindictive or selective prosecution motion to dismiss might be successful. You know who's been talking a lot about this is Julie Kelly, who has been basically, at these court proceedings, watching it, and been giving us all tremendous insight into what's happening there. And so we'll listen and see what she had to say about what's happening in the classified documents case as we talk about these motions for selective and vindictive prosecution, because all of these unsealings are allowing us to peer in to the true nature of these prosecutions as brought by Jack Smith, coordinated by the Biden administration. So Walt Nauta, co-defendant, says you got to dismiss this. His attorney, of course, is Stanley Woodward, the same attorney who they say got threatened by Jay Bratt, who's, like an Oompa Loompa walking around there in Florida. So we'll go through that one and see what's happening in Florida. Then we'll turn our attention to Arizona because, man, there's a new indictment and they just unsealed a bunch more names. So 18 total. And if you look at the official docket in Arizona, this is Kris Mayes, all right? This is the woman who is out showing up on the media saying, we have to get Joe Biden elected. Then she indicts all the Trump people. Okay, thanks. Nice justice there. She also showed up and was at the White House not too long ago, less than a year ago, hanging out with who knows who, Escobar, something like that. I don't know what's going on. And so we'll see what that's all about. And we'll ask ourselves, why is this all happening now? Well, maybe because Trump is winning in Arizona. And Arizona is a battleground state. And they need to do something to decapitate any GOP momentum and further as it exists in Arizona. But this is our attorney general, all right, Kris Mayes. She's basically our version of Tish, Bigfoot Letitia James. I don't know if Kris Mayes takes her shoes off in court. Someone will have to educate us on that one, but we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. So the indictment dropped. We'll go through it. We'll see what's inside. This is what the docket looks like as of this afternoon. Of course, this is Arizona. This is your boy's territory, all right? Know this stuff inside and out. This court docket looks familiar, getting flashbacks to when I was practicing. It's like, oh gosh, I remember all this. Oh no. Okay, but here we are. We're back in Arizona. Arizona's a battleground state. So why are they indicting all these people? Well, I've got some ideas. So I dropped down a couple different bullet points how this lawfare is actually effective in draining GOP energy time. These are the people who all got indicted. Rudy's on there, Mark Meadows, remember Jenna Ellis, she's back on the list again. John Eastman, Christina Bobb, and Michael Roman. You remember him? He was from the Big Fanny case. Ashley Merchant was his attorney back there in Georgia. And so another lawfare attack happening. Arizona's not going their way. And so they just said, well, I guess we'll just indict a bunch of people. And so the new justice is here in Arizona, and it may be showing up at a location near you as well. So all that is coming up and more, my friends. Of course, then when we're done here, we will see what you have to say about all this. As we unpack this, we will go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com after the show's over. We have a great members-only community. Some say the best in the entire universe. I say that. And we'd love to have you join it. Watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We do streams in the morning. I already had a great live stream this morning. We get our bearings straight on the day, talk about a bunch of stuff we can't squeeze in here, and we'd love to have you join us. It is a great way to support our work. It's a great way to meet some other people, have some fun, get some extra content, talk about some other stuff. It's great. Watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Come check it out. If you want to download any PDFs, check out the calendar of the store, calendar of the show, the merch store, like speaking and reading simultaneously. Just do one at a time, Rob. Show reports, daily newsletter, email. It is all available at robertgovea.com. Go and check it out. And of course, WatcherLodge.com is our sovereignty and self-development platform where we talk about what it's going to take to get freedom, sovereignty, independence in our lives. We have our meetup happening in June 29th, not just for the lodge, but for everybody, of course. Come and join us. Go RSVP at WatcherLodge.com. That's where you can find the calendar there. Add it to your calendar. If you intend on joining, we're meeting at Trump International Hotel, baby, in June. So come check it out. And also, as a reminder, I will be attending a business event. It's called Speakeasy Mastermind. It's a business networking group. It's open to the public. It's not my event, but I will be there Thursday, Friday. So if you're somebody who's into those things, you want to go to that, more information's at watcherlodge.com. You can sign up for that. And then, of course, our meetup will be on Saturday. If you're like, Rob, I don't want to go to Vegas just for a meetup. Well, come to a business event. Or, if you're looking for something else to do in Vegas, there's more to do. All right. So all that, watcherlodge.com. We will see you in Vegas, I hope. All right, so let's get to it. On the day, Unsealed in Florida. Remember that search warrant that authorized all those feds and some of those perverted feds to go into Melania's sock drawer, whatever was going on in her closet? They were raiding everything at Trump's residence. And when we wanted to see their justification for going and doing that, well, they redacted everything and then they sealed the filing so we couldn't see much of what was inside. And now, thanks to Judge Cannon and her propensity for transparency, we have the unsealed search warrant. We're going to put two documents up side by side and go through them together. And to do that, let's get the documents up now. Soon as I can do that, here. Boom. All right, so let's clean this up a bit. These are the two filings. One of these was dropped on the docket back in 2022. The other was dropped back on April 26, 2024. So we have two different filings, one from some time ago and one obviously a lot more recently. You can see on the right. Now, what's curious about this is some of this is highly redacted. For example, this is the redacted on the left. And when we scroll down here to page 2, we see that we have a new paragraph that is suddenly unredacted. So we get to peer inside, and we're happy about that. Now, what is this full document on the right? Let's just zoom up here a little bit so I can show you where this is originating from. This was all originally under seal, right? There was a motion to seal. We just got limited bits and pieces of all of this. But now Judge Cannon has said, okay, you can see inside. This came originally from a U.S. Assistant Attorney. His name is Michael Thacker. That came in, says, Your Honor, we're petrified that if this gets out, everyone's going to know how corrupt we are. And so please seal it because of national security, blah, blah, blah. Highly sensitive documents. And we don't want this filed on the public because it poses a risk to safety. There's sensitive nature and blah, blah. Okay, got it. Sealing order. The judge who issued the warrant. Okay, this is Bruce Reinhart. So this is not Judge Cannon that we're talking about because all of this was being investigated, obviously before the raid occurred. So he says, right, the original judge, not Cannon, says, no problem, I'm here in Florida. This is the Southern District of Florida, highly sensitive document, sealing order, right? So he gives us the rubber check on it. This is before criminal charges are filed because they're doing their investigation. So then August 5th, 2022, there's an application for a warrant by telephone, right? They fax this over and they get here, it's continued. Now this is the affidavit. And so let's see now how these two documents compare with one another. It's 38 pages. We've read the original the redacted version long time ago when this originally happened. And so we'll go quickly here, just highlighting the differences between the two filings, as you can see. On the right and the left, the two search warrant applications saying this is our affidavit. We want to search and seize these materials from the Trump residence. They say the government is conducting a criminal investigation into documents. This investigation began because NARA sent a letter to the DOJ, and there are 15 boxes that we need to go find, and so we're going to go help track those down. Now, they tell us that the FBI's investigation, after all of their due diligence, has established that documents bearing classification markings, which appear to contain national defense information, were among the materials in the 15 boxes. Now, this is all new. Since the 15 boxes were provided to NARA, additional documents bearing classification markings, which appear to contain NDI, were stored at the premises in an unauthorized location and have been produced to the government in response to a grand jury subpoena directed at Trump's post-presidential office and seeking documents containing classification markings stored at the premises or otherwise under the president's control. Now, we might be asking ourselves, okay, there's nothing really too juicy in there, is there? Other than they're giving us maybe some investigatory details about how they got stuff, right? What the evidence contains, what the evidence shows. But we're not seeing, evidence of corruption, in other words, as sometimes we might expect. So they say there's probable cause to believe additional documents contain these materials. Now, who are these people? Paragraph 4, we have limited redactions in the original. Some things have been unredacted. Says, I am a special agent with the FBI, Washington Field Office. They didn't want us to know that this person has been with the Counterintelligence Division and has been there since 2016. He's got training at Quantico and so on. And he says, I'm currently assigned, this person, to investigate counterintelligence and espionage matters, right? They didn't want us to know who this person is, probably so we can not really identify the FBI agent and see who's behind all this. Now, he says, I'm familiar with how we collect these materials and so on, right? So all the rest of this is pretty much both sides we can read. No redactions for quite some time. And so they're walking us through probable cause and NARA. Let's fast forward. There are considerable more redactions. And then we get down to page 8. Now, page 8, we wrap up. They say in paragraph 25 in both documents, says the archivist of NARA said in a letter to Congress, Maloney, that we had communications with Trump's people and Trump's people are being ornery. And so now, the same day, the Save America Political Action Committee posted the following on behalf of Trump. Okay, so we're still February 18th now. They say Trump posted this on True Social, or posted this statement by Donald Trump. They said he posted this on behalf of Trump. Trump wrote, the National Archives did not, quote, find anything, okay? They were given, upon request, presidential records in an ordinary routine process to ensure the preservation of my legacy in accordance with the Presidential Records Act. They say, here's a full image of the statement below. Now, in the redacted document, you can see this whole section is redacted. Why? Let's see. Let's see what is inside. So here is Trump's statement. Now, zooming in on this, let's see if we can really see it. And it's kind of hard to read it. We'll say they're referencing that, see if they give us any more details on it. But here is what the redacted filing, the unredacted document looks like now. The title, which is new, says Trump stores documents in boxes. Let's see what's inside. On April 12th, FBI agents interviewed, this is 2022, a Trump representative called Witness Blank. And Witness Blank learned from another White House employee, hereinafter referred to as this person, that Trump kept boxes in his bedroom in the White House residence. Now, both witness this person, and this so-and-so heard that Trump brought the documents that he wanted to read to the White House residence at the end of the day. And someone reported that these documents were placed in boxes that would be stacked in the corner after Trump was done reading them. Now, on May 12th, FBI agents interviewed a former employee of Trump, witness so-and-so, who was specifically responsible for handling the presidential papers in the White House. Witness so-and-so also described a regular flow of documents between the White House residence and the Oval Office carried by the valets at the direction of Trump. And we have a question on May 12th, who's specifically responsible for handling these? So I guess the time period is, well, the question mark is, what is the time frame? Regular flow of documents from when to when and why? And maybe they get into that, but we get even more redactions? Come on, man. Okay, so you can see they give us one sentence, thanks. Redacted, redacted, redacted. First sentences, both redacted. But then they say, it was Trump's practice to store accumulated documents in boxes, and that continues to be his practice. Now, paragraph 29 was sealed or redacted. Now it is unredacted. It says, in mid-December 2020, witness blank was aware from the valets that there were still, quote, several boxes of records in the White House residence. Now, witness so-and-so brought this to the attention of Trump's chief of staff, December 2020. Trump is still in office. Now, witness blank did not know specifically what documents were in those boxes, but stated that they could have anything in them. And there could be newspaper articles, briefing books, press statements, draft letters, so-and-so. Witness knew that Trump received daily briefing books there, and the documents like schedules and dues of the day and economic reports and other matters that were mostly unclassified. Now, sometimes, unredacted, the daily briefing book contained classified reports, and witness blank also regularly handled on behalf of Trump decision memo packages that had classified material attached, or talking points for State Department phone calls that were classified as the confidential level at a minimum. Now, the witness, we don't know who it is, did not always receive those documents back, and they were handled by other staff. And so this witness was aware that some of these documents ended up in boxes, as that was Trump's filing system. Now, sometimes the documents that Trump did not return or discard in a burn bag, a common method of disposing of classified documents for appropriate destruction, would be thrown in a box on the theory that Trump might want to do something with them later. And we have a shout out to our friend Elliot on Locals, who has a tremendous Substack on this. Elliot we'll link to that. We'll throw that in the chat. Now, understanding that if a document can be discarded, Elliot's point, if a document can be discarded into a burn bag, then maybe it is actually not a classified document subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. We'll pull that link up when we're done here. Now, boxes containing documents were transported. You can see we have a first sentence here that was unredacted in both locations. But they say, according to a CBS Miami article titled Moving Trucks Spotted at Mar-a-Lago, published on Monday, January 18th, at least 2 moving trucks were observed at the premises on January 18th. Then we get redacted. This is new. On June 9th, FBI agents interviewed a current Mar-a-Lago employee, and this witness recalled that the move had occurred on a Monday evening when a large moving truck and a box truck were present. Now, although this witness did not observe banker boxes being offloaded from the trucks, at a later date, witness so-and-so recalled observing banker boxes in the white and gold ballroom in Mar-a-Lago. Telling us on May 26, the FBI interviewed witness 5. Now, witness 5 was employed by Trump both during the administration and after the end of the administration on January 20th. Now, on June 21st, witness 5 testified under oath before a federal grand jury sitting in D.C. Now, before the grand jury, he stated that during the move from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, bankers' boxes were placed within large brown boxes labeled redacted. So they tell us witness 5. Now, according to witness redacted, this is all new again, Witness so-and-so subsequently learned that approximately 85 to 95 of Trump's boxes, hereinafter called Trump's boxes, were transported from the White House to the premises, but witness blank did not know when this occurred. And they're trying to, timeline's very important because they're always trying to establish obstruction. You know, they requested the documents back, and then Trump didn't provide the documents back. And then they found the documents. Oh, you obstructed by moving the boxes to a different location. Now, witness X describes that Trump's boxes as white and blue banker's boxes and cardboard printer paper boxes with lids. Now, witness blank also confirmed that the boxes are similar to the ones pictured below in a photograph taken by the media of Trump aides loading the boxes into Marine One on January 20th as Trump departed the White House. We don't get the photos. Continually, this is new, says on or about January 20th, witness so-and-so observed several items which may have contained some of Trump's boxes being offloaded from Air Force One and transported to the premises. Now, between January 21, so Trump is now out, and late August 2021, the boxes were stored in at least 2 different rooms within Mar-a-Lago. Witness so-and-so was aware that in approximately May 21, Trump directed Mar-a-Lago staff to locate a permanent storage location on the premises for the boxes. This is new. In late August or early September, witness blank also observed that the boxes were in a ground floor storage room, hereinafter called a storage room. There was no lock on the door. Now, sometime thereafter, witness blank observed locks installed on the door. Witness blank also described the storage room as being located on the ground floor pool level hallway within other offices and storage spaces. Now, the door to the storage room was painted gold, very classy, and no other markings were on it. The door on the storage room is located approximately midway up the wall, reachable by several wooden stairs. Now, in addition to the approximately 80 to 95 Trump boxes located in the storage room, there were other boxes in the storage room with merchandise like challenge coins, garment bags, memorabilia from Mar-a-Lago, photo frames, decor items, and moreover. Now, on May 27th, FBI agents interviewed witness blank. Witness blank was employed by Trump, both during the administration and at the end. Now, witness blank also described the storage room as located in the basement of the premises, and according to the witness, the storage room held boxes and gifts from the White House deemed too valuable to store off-site. Witness stated that the entrance to the storage room had a wooden door, spray painted gold. All right, now, not a lot of this is, I would say, juicy expose. A lot of the times what we see in these redacted filings are indicia of corruption, right? Allegations that Jack Smith deems to be too spicy for the public to see, like in some of the unsealed motions where Stanley Woodward is essentially alleging that they were threatening him and his judicial aspirations. But what we see is how the investigation was concocted. Maybe they are worried that we can see some, inner operations at Mar-a-Lago, how this stuff was working. Maybe they're concerned we're going to identify this witness. Who is this person? We think that witness 5 was Walt Nauta because he definitely sat down and gave an interview and also testified at a grand jury proceeding, I believe. But we continue. So this is also new. Unredacted from the original search warrant, which was redacted prior to the raid. Says, on March 31st, the FBI also interviewed a White House government employee, witness blank. Witness blank reported that sometime in 2017, he or she became aware of multiple documents not being given back to the White House. In 2018, witness blank learned from witness this person, so 2 different witnesses, that approximately 24 boxes of materials were being kept by Trump. But in 2018, that's curious. Let's see where this goes. Because Trump was still in office in 2018. Learned that 24 boxes of materials were being kept by Trump at the time. Now, another White House employee confirmed to witness blank that there was a separate holding area. After January 20th, 2021, witness blank was aware that multiple records had not been provided by Trump to NARA, including the 24 boxes. Okay, so this person has had this stuck in their mind since 2018. They're like, Trump never gave those boxes back. So he located them. They got moved. Documents are being moved around. These people are librarians, essentially. So he says, somebody checked out some library books in 2018. We haven't got them back. So then we fast forward all the way till Trump leaves. He says, those are overdue library books. We got to go get those back. On May 6th, this is all new after this first sentence. We knew this sentence. On May 6th, Nauta made a request for the missing records and continued to make requests until late December when Nauta was informed that 12 boxes were found and ready for retrieval at the premises. And so this same witness, whoever that person is, who's had this little, they've got documents over there that we got to get back. Trump leaves. Oh, they never returned those library books back. Go get them. Now, this is all new. After receiving, according to witness whatever, after receiving the request from Nauta, Trump wanted to review the boxes before providing them to Nauta. Witness so-and-so and witness 5, Walt Nauta, I believe, and this person collected the 15 boxes closest to the door in the storage room, and they delivered them to Trump. They carried the boxes from the storage room to the entryway of Trump's personal residential suite on the premises. Now, between January 1st, 2022, 1st and the 17th, so about 2 weeks, January 2022, no charges yet, witness blank, witness 5, and so-and-so placed 2 to 4 boxes at a time outside Trump's personal suite. Now, when they interviewed Walt on May 26th, the FBI, Walt claimed that the first time witness 5 saw the boxes was when witness 5 moved them from Pine Hall, which is the anteroom, to Trump's personal residential suite. Man, anteroom, man, that's fancy. And to the moving truck to provide the boxes to Nauta. Witness 5, Walt, also testified before the grand jury that he or she had actually weeks prior moved them to the storage room to Pine Hall for Trump's review. Then in the interview, he stated that he or she did not know where the boxes had come from prior to landing in Pine Hall. Now, testifying under oath, he claimed that he had said this because he was not sure how the boxes got there. This is why you don't talk to the feds ever, because they just catch you in a lie and then charge you when you don't cooperate. Witness 5 thereafter admitted, however, that he or she was not aware of anyone moving the boxes to Pine Hall, right? So like, oh, sorry, Walt, you're a liar now. Thanks for cooperating. Perjury trap. Boom, busted. Now, on January 17th, witness so-and-so believes that Trump took the boxes into the residential suite and reviewed them. As this is right, they're his documents. On January 17th, the day of the scheduled Nauta pickup, witness blank saw all 15 boxes in the hallway outside Trump's suite. So they have this like inside mole at Mar-a-Lago. Witness 5 also testified that the 15 boxes were in Pine Hall. Pine Hall is the anteroom to the presidential suite. You can see all this is brand new. Witness blank also believed that Trump personally reviewed the items that were requested by Nauta. So he looked at them. And witness 5 testified that he or she and witness so-and-so transferred the boxes from Pine Hall to Walt's car. From there on January 17th, witness blank and witness 5 met the Nauta contract driver and provided the driver with the 15 boxes. Now, even though there were far more Trump boxes than the 15 boxes, Trump did not review the remainder of the boxes before the Nauta pickup. According to witness 5, the 15 boxes were not selected from Trump's boxes for review in a systematic way. He also testified before the grand jury that he would just open the door, turn to my left, grab a box, take it up, going through the boxes. Walt confirmed that he was instructed not to take any particular boxes, and he said, okay, when asked if he could just take some off the top. Then Walt was questioned, why did you not bring for review more than what Walt approximated, more was the 15 to 17. Why didn't you bring them all? He says, well, once I started putting them in there, I was like, okay, like that's it. That's enough. This is enough boxes. According to witness 5, Trump did not state why he did not want to review more boxes before the Nauta pickup. But whenever witness 5 asked whether Trump wanted witness 5 to get any more boxes, Trump would just say, no, that's it. I'm good. Right. So they said, well, why didn't, so like Trump knows that Nauta is going to come. And he's reviewing some boxes. Why isn't he reviewing more boxes? And then he just didn't review them. So Trump is by not acting, obstructing, right? Not giving the boxes back. The librarian's going to be here to collect their documents. They're not their documents. They're Trump's. Get the heck out of here. They're his books, not yours. So it continues. Now we get a new unredacted photo, I believe. although we may have seen that one. Here is the difference between the documents. Paragraph 45 says, according to witness blank, however, approximately 70 to 80 of the aforementioned 85 to 95 Trump boxes remained in the storage room as of approximately January 2022. Now, witness blank did not know the contents of the remaining 70 to 80 Trump boxes. You can see there's a bunch of boxes in there. Now, but believed that they contained the same types of documents that were otherwise provided to NARA. Now, on May 18th, the FBI obtained an undated photograph, now called the storage photo, from this witness. So this person's going around snapping photos for the feds, who had access to the storage room. Witness blank took the photograph, gave it to Trump sometime between these two dates. Now, the purpose of the photograph was to show Trump the volume of the photos. Here it is, 61 of Trump boxes located in the storage room, in this storage room right there. Now, 15 boxes were actually given back to NARA. FBI agents conducted a preliminary review of the 15 boxes, triage. There were 184 unique documents, classification markings, and so on. And we see some newly unredacted paragraphs. 48 tells us, given witness blank's statements that the 15 boxes were a sampling taken from the larger amount of 85 to 95 boxes being stored in the storage room and on the premises, this FBI agent, right now, he has to say, there's a search warrant. I need a warrant now to go look at these other boxes. I believe the contents of the remainder of the boxes are similar to the contents of the 15 boxes. So each of these is like the others. Further, based upon the presence and the number of documents that bear classification markings, there is reason to believe that the remaining boxes also contain national defense information. Also new. Following the provision of the 15 boxes to NARA, remaining boxes were moved from a storage room to other locations. On June 21st, while testifying under oath, Walt Nauta stated that sometime after January 2022, after the provision of the 15 boxes to NARA, Trump requested additional boxes be moved. He just says, yeah, bring me a couple boxes, I'll work through them. Just grab and put them in Pine Hall. Now, according to Walt, he was not asked, nor did he return the boxes to the storage room. Walt confirmed that he or she had been in the storage room recently, acknowledging that when he was in there, there were fewer boxes in the storage room than was represented in the storage photo. When asked how Walt would account for the deficit in the boxes, he stated that the remaining boxes were in his room in the residence, referring to Trump's suite. So then there was a grand jury subpoena. Now, the DOJ, this FBI agent says, the DOJ told me that an attorney representing Trump, called Trump Lawyer 1, agreed to accept service of a grand jury subpoena from D.C. For someone handling this matter for the DOJ counsel. The subpoena was directed to the custodian of records for Trump, and it requested the following materials. You see all these classification markings. We've got top secret, secret, confidential, top secret, no foreign, ORCON, all these different monikers for all the different levels of classification. All that was redacted previously. They say the return date of that subpoena was May 2022. Now, DOJ's counsel also sent Trump's counsel a letter that permitted alternative compliance with the subpoena by providing any responsive documents back to the FBI. If nothing exists, let us know that you've looked and you don't have it. On May 25th, while negotiating for an extension of that subpoena, Trump's lawyers sent 2 letters to the DOJ counsel. And I don't know why they redacted that, right? So maybe dates. They don't want us to maybe see that, but they say this here in the second such letter. Okay. In the second letter, which is attached to Exhibit 1, the lawyers asked the DOJ to consider some principles. And DOJ said, get the heck out of here. So the FBI agent says, I'm aware of an article in Breitbart which says Kash Patel, who is Trump's top administration official, is misleading people. He alleged that reports were misleading because Trump declassified the materials. But this witness was aware that Patel visited Trump on the premises around the time that Breitbart was published. And so, though witness 1 was not present at any of the meetings between Patel and Trump. So they're saying Patel might be getting information, and he's repeating this stuff on the news. Now, on May 26, on June 7th, FBI agents interviewed this witness. Witness blank was employed by Trump during the administration. This witness believed that Trump had classified records related to what they call Russiagate, when Trump was falsely set up by the intelligence agencies as being a colluder with Russia. Never happened. Crossfire hurricane, all that stuff. So they said Trump took records that implicate, basically, this fake hoax from the Democrats, orchestrated by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, Michael Sussman and the rest of that crew there. Witness blank was not aware of additional records being declassified. Is a person in a position to know that? Let's see, this person was not, let me see if I can erase what I scribbled over here. Says there were not records that were declassified in the manner in which Patel claimed. So it's okay. How does that person know what these details are? Is this a high-ranking person? Certainly sounds like it. Now, witness blank opined that the president of the United States could declassify classified information without concurrence from or coordination with other or the owner of the information. Now, in some instances, this witness related, like those involving the Atomic Energy Act, that there may be statutes that purport to establish a framework for declassifying the classified information. Now, after an extension was granted for compliance with the subpoena on the evening of June 2nd, Trump's lawyer one contacted the DOJ, said, hey, FBI agents, can you guys come meet us the following day, pick up some of these documents? On June 3rd, 3 FBI agents and DOJ lawyers went to the premises at Mar-a-Lago to accept the receipt of the materials. Now, in addition to Trump's lawyer, another individual called Individual 2 was also present as the custodian of records for Trump's post-presidential office. Now, the production included a single red weld envelope wrapped in tape containing documents. Trump's lawyer 1 relayed that the documents in the red weld tape would be found during a review of the boxes located in the storage room. Individual 2 also provided a certification letter signed by Individual 2, which stated the following. And I believe this is probably Christina Bobb. Christina Bobb is another Trump lawyer who just got indicted in Arizona. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was the one who signed that certification. Based upon the information that had been provided to me, I'm authorized to say on behalf of Trump, a diligent search was conducted on the boxes. It was conducted after receipt of the subpoena to locate the documents. Any and all responsive documents have been found and been provided here, accompany this. And there you go. So they say during the production, Trump's lawyer stated that he was advised all the records that came from the White House were stored in one location at Mar-a-Lago. So one Trump lawyer says they're all here. The storage room. And they said, oh, well, he can't move them out of that room. The storage room and the boxes of the records in the storage room were the remaining repository of the records from the White House. Now, Trump's lawyer 1 further stated he was not advised there were any records in any private office or any other space. FBI agents and counsel, they're like, oh, you're lying to us. He's like, I'm telling you what I know. Were permitted to see the storage room, and they observed that 50 to 55 boxes remained in the storage room. Now, considering that only 15 boxes have been provided to NARA of the approximately 85 to 95 that have been located, it appears that approximately 15 to 30 of Trump boxes has been previously relocated elsewhere. Right? So they're barging in there, expecting to find this big drug bust of classified documents all over the place, and the documents have been moved. It's like a scene out of a bad Netflix movie. They're not here. Trump has them in his room. He's laughing, throwing these boxes around. The FBI agents also observed that the composition of the boxes differed such that fewer bankers' boxes were visible, while more plain cardboard boxes were present. Other items were also present in the storage room, including a coat rack with suit jackets, as well as interior decor like wall art and frames. Now, while testifying, still new, that before the grand jury, Walt Nauta stated he did not know whether Trump's lawyer reviewed any of the boxes that were in the residential suite, but he did not see the lawyer go in there. Now, a preliminary review of the documents contained in the envelope produced to the grand jury, pursuant to the grand jury subpoena, revealed the following numbers. There were 38 unique documents with classification markings. There were 5 documents marked as confidential, 16 secret, 17 top secret, and further, FBI agents observed markings reflecting the following caveats: HCS, SI, FISA. Now, based on my training and experience, I know these documents contain typically national defense information, and it contains multiple documents also contain what appear to be Trump's handwritten notes. Isn't that funny? Because remember, Ronald Reagan had a bunch of classified handwritten notes in his journal, in his diary that he wrote regularly in, and no one raided his house to go get those. Similarly unredacted. Now I can see why they don't want us to see that clearly. Oh, they're his handwritten notes. Yeah. So it shows you the precedent is even broader. That they're deviating from the dude's notes. Reagan wrote diary after diary filled with stuff. Clinton sat down and did interviews about it. And he was allowed to keep those recordings while he was recording stuff like of the presidency in action, taking phone calls and crap. So it's just ridiculous. Now you know why they don't want you to see that stuff. Now, 59 says, notably, although the 15 boxes provided to NARA contained approximately 184 unique documents with classification markings, only approximately 38 unique documents with classification markings were produced from the remaining Trump boxes. So a little bit of a different ratio. Now, when producing the documents, neither Trump's counsel nor the other person who signed the affirmation that the search had been completed asserted that Trump had declassified the documents. Like, well, you didn't say you declassified it. So what? He did it by virtue of taking the documents. They're his. That's the presidential duty. Again, if he has to notify somebody, excuse me, head librarian, I'm declassifying these. And what are they? Is it just notice? It's a notice requirement. Where is that in the Constitution anywhere that says Trump can only take the documents if he properly notifies NARA? Anywhere. Someone can point that out. It's not in there. And if it's a statute, well, then how does that statute passed by Congress overtake the U.S. Constitution, which gives the president document power pursuant to the Constitution, which says he has the right to the opinion of his executives and their writings in the Constitution. Now it says here, the letter stated, DOJ sent Trump's lawyer a letter, which restated that the premises were not authorized to store these classified documents. Head librarian's very upset with you. And we've read a lot of that. Now let's see, more redactions, unredactions, come from this section. They tell us that surveillance camera footage shows boxes being removed from the storage room area prior to Trump's lawyer review in connection with the subpoena. So this is where all the obstruction stuff comes around. Okay, Trump and his people were moving boxes around because they're his boxes. He's allowed to move them around and look at them. He doesn't have to go to the storage room and sit there on a stool and look at the boxes. So they say, oh, now they have got moles inside Mar-a-Lago, people who are, from our intelligence agencies spying on a former president so that they can ensnare him in a document scandal and charge him with crimes that no one else has been charged with. So, all right, now they say DOJ counsel, losers, has advised this FBI agent that on or about June 22nd, Trump lawyers, a group of business entities, confirmed the Trump organization maintains security cameras. They want to go get those. And so they agreed to accept a subpoena for that footage. Now, the subpoena sought everything, any and all surveillance footage from everything. Does it say Melania's? No, okay. Says on July 6, in response to the subpoena, representatives of the Trump organization provided a hard drive to the FBI agents. Now, this is still redacted. All right, so Trump's people voluntarily say, you want to look at our stuff? Here. They don't, they're not thinking they're about to get indicted by these people. Like they're supposed to be on the same team. They're not. Here's the footage. There's nothing going wrong here. Upon review of the hard drive, the FBI determined the drive contained video footage from 4 cameras in the basement and hallways of the premises to the storage room. The footage begins on April 23rd, ends on June 24th. The recording feature of the cameras appears to be motion activated, so footage is only captured when there is motion. Now, some of this they may want to redact just for security. You don't want to know the inner operations of Mar-a-Lago security. One camera in particular, I'm sure it's all upgraded now, identified on the hard drive as the South Tunnel Liquor, provides a view of the entry, here the anteroom that leads to the storage room. Now, the doorway to the anteroom itself is not visible in the camera, as a refrigerator is directly between the camera and the doorway. But the footage from this camera establishes entry and exit to the room because it's apparent when a person within the camera's field of view disappears behind the view behind the refrigerator. Now, in this anteroom, which is apparently the room before Trump's room, in addition to the entrance from the South Tunnel, it has approximately 4 doors leading off of it, one of which is a gold-painted door leading to the storage room. The anteroom provides the only entrance to the storage room. However, other areas, people might be able to come in. All right, we got it. Now, by reviewing the camera footage by the Trump Organization, the FBI has determined the following. Oh, no. On May 24th, Walt is observed exiting the room with 3 boxes. On May 30th, 4 days after Walt's interview with the FBI, which the location of the boxes was a significant subject of questioning, which he went and voluntarily did. He's like, what's up? Witness 5 is observing the anteroom doorway with approximately 50 bankers boxes, consistent with the description of the Trump boxes. FBI did not observe this quantity of boxes being returned to the storage room through the anteroom in its review of the footage. So like they're literally like librarians, okay? They're moving these boxes. Where are the boxes? They're tracking all the boxes. The next day on June 1st, Walt is observed carrying 11 brown boxes outside the entrance. One box did not have a lid on it. Oh my gosh! Nuclear coats. The day before that, on June 2nd, Witness 5 is observed moving 25 to 30 boxes through cardboard locations. And 3.5 hours later, he's observed escorting Trump's lawyer through the entrance of the room. Now, they're not observed leaving until 2.5 hours later. So they're like monitoring them going through boxes and moving boxes around. What a crime. On June 3rd, Trump's lawyer is escorted through this room. Someone else is the Secret Service police printed on the back, and they're carrying a red weld envelope. Now, as described above, it's like, what's this grand conspiracy? They're moving boxes around so people can review them. Wow. Obstruction of justice. Raid them. As described above, Trump's lawyer contacted the DOJ on June 2nd, says, hey, come on over here. Invited him back. As described above, in response to a grand jury subpoena, they had a red weld envelope with more documents inside. Now, as described above, Walt testified before the grand jury. According to the FBI review of the video, he's observed moving 64 boxes from the storage room and only returning 25 to 30 boxes in the storage room. So they're saying, oh, he's like disposing of these materials. Okay. And you can't do that. And maybe some of it's garbage. Maybe they're just shredding it. Like, oh, this is a menu from that crap Chinese restaurant. Remember that place? It was horrible. We all got sick. Like, okay, shred that. You don't need boxes of that stuff. So that, whoa, those are presidential records. You're getting indicted over this. So during his grand jury testimony, Walt was asked to identify the occasion on which he had entered the storage room and testified. He said, I don't know, a lot. What's in the storage room? Everything. Shirts, hats, stickers, storage room. When asked if he had removed anything from the storage room at any time, he says, well, recently, yeah. Within the last month, I moved stuff. I removed a box of challenge coins, and I took them to Trump's office. Now, he did not identify any other occasion in which he removed anything from the storage room, and he did not inform the grand jury within a month before his appearance that he had removed 60 boxes from the storage room. Got it. He's like literally disposing of the documents and let me say not disposing, processing the documents, helping Trump process the documents, bringing the lawyers to process the documents. And that is what he's expected to be doing. And now he's being prosecuted. So FBI agent writes, there's probable cause to believe that there's national security secrets in here. As I explained, there's numerous boxes all over the place. In fact, they brought us a red weld envelope and there were a bunch of statements. So we think that it's very likely that this lawyer did not search for the classified information in other locations. And so they only looked in the storage room, but there were other locations similar, like Pine Hall and elsewhere. And since Trump left the White House, this same witness has observed on several occasions Trump with documents containing classification markings on his desk. whoever this person is, an office space used by Trump and certain staffers that's located within the premises as well. However, this witness has not observed the documents at the premises with classification markings. Now, when Walt was questioned under oath as to whether there were bankers' boxes remaining in the residential suite, he said to his knowledge that there were. He also at first claimed there are, I don't know, maybe 2-3 boxes in there. But when pressed, he said, I don't know, just 2 or 3. He says, I don't know, everything happens fast. Like, is there only 2 or 3? He's like, I don't know, it happens fast. I bring in some boxes, we review them, they go away. So I don't know how many get bundled up. He then confirmed that he had taken multiple boxes since January to Trump's private residence and that Trump had asked him to take them back and return them to the room. Now, on or about June 10th, approximately 1 week after Trump left Mar-a-Lago for New Jersey, where Trump spends the summer, this witness entered the storage room. Trump's out of here, so let's go now investigate him. And observed noticeable differences in the types of boxes and organization since the prior time of the witness. It's weird, like we're really concerned about security at these locations, but the feds are the ones who are, invading these spaces with their own witnesses under the color of law to prosecute their own political opponents. It's incredible. So Trump leaves, like, oh, perfect, go in there, check everything. This witness is like, okay. Witness expressed the last time they were in the storage room. They explained that it looked different. And says, witness explained that when Trump lawyer accessed the storage room to conduct his review, it appeared that he was alone and his hands were empty when he entered. And says, it would have taken a full day to estimate what was going on in that room. Now, similarly unredacted, they tell us on June 29, 2022, the timeline is progressing. They're writing, we got to get a warrant for the rest of Trump's stuff. FBI agents interviewed a current employee of Mar-a-Lago, this witness. Sometime after June, that witness was contacted by Trump's lawyer, said, is there a better way to secure this location? And then they installed a padlock. So here, this witness describes Trump's residential suite, often referred to as the quarters, the owner's quarters. Sliding steel doors known as Pine Hall leads to Trump's personal suite. Those 2 suites are connected by a door between them. Now, as of approximately June 26, witness blank was present in Trump's suite for maintenance purposes. So is this a maintenance person? FBI flips somebody who's a property manager there, but did not recall observing boxes in that location. On June 30th, this witness informed the FBI via legal counsel representing them that the dimensions of Trump's personal suite, Trump's personal suite is 16 feet by 28 feet, and the dimensions of Trump's spouse's personal suite, Melania, I knew it, are approximately 20 feet to 28 feet. These perverted FBI, they're like, oh, perfect. Where are her drawers? Where's her closet, perverts? Witness blank's legal counsel confirmed that witness blank may not have been able to fully observe the entirety of the personal suite in June. So they've got this witness also spying on the president's personal suite and Melania's too. Sick. He leaves. Get in there. Go into his master bedroom. Get out the measuring tape. Our own FBI for a duly elected American president. Sick. On July 29th, FBI agents interviewed an individual who worked at the premises since blank hereinafter called witness whatever. Witness so-and-so informed the FBI that he or she is regularly in the residential suite at the premises, and that as of recently as July 28th, witness so-and-so did not observe any banker boxes that are currently in the residential suite or Pine Hall. This witness did indicate that there have been occasions in the past where they have seen some banker boxes, but she's never seen more than 3 boxes at a time, which is what Walt said. Paragraph 78 is also new, saying that as described above, evidence of these offenses has been stored in multiple locations, of subject offenses has been stored in multiple locations. Now, in addition to what we described earlier, Walt moved boxes. He moved 64 boxes from the storage room and he only returned 25 to 30 boxes. And so it cannot be seen on video where the boxes were moved when they were taken from the storage room. And he did not reveal during his FBI interview or his grand jury that he moved boxes. So this is a box moving crime. Additionally, no witness has indicated that the boxes have left the premises. And so this affidavit from this FBI agent seeks authorization to search Trump's office and all storage rooms and any other rooms like Melania's closet or locations where boxes or records may be stored within the premises. Concluding, because we think there's probable cause to believe that crimes have been committed. And of course, they requested to seal all this stuff, and we just saw very limited components of it, respectfully submitted by some just goon FBI agent. Pathetic. Signed here by Bruce Reinhardt, the judge who ultimately authorized this whole scandal to occur. And it went off relatively quickly. The raid occurred back in August of last year, and there were a lot of exchanges back and forth. You know, Jay Bratt, the Oompa Loompa of Florida, May 25th, he got a letter, right, back and forth from Trump's people explaining the fact that Trump has privilege and presidential immunity and presidential discretion to retain these documents. So that is the unsealed search warrant, and it is revealing more what the FBI does. They go after their opponents. They have spies raiding and invading their master bedroom, and then they wait until Trump leaves to go and measure the drapes. Sick people. And then they charge him like he's just a petty thief. So that is something that is very curious. Why is this unsealing happening right now? Well, there are some ideas that maybe there's going to be a big ruling from Judge Cannon in Florida that might lead to a dismissal of the case. And of course, we're going to keep our eyes on the docket, and we hope that you join us as we do. Thank you for subscribing wherever it is you're watching this, and liking this video, and inviting someone you know or love, a friend or family member, to come over here and check out our channel so that they can see what's happening behind the scenes in these cases. We've also got a great members-only community. We do live streams in the morning, 6 days a week, including on Saturdays. We'd love to have you come and join us to talk about some other stuff that we can't squeeze into here during these live streams. Join us at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We'll look forward to seeing you over there and back here on the next one. All right, my friends, now we're not done yet. We've got more business to attend to in Florida. And so let's just keep this train on the track, because more Jack Smith shenanigans are afoot. And let's talk about this one. Jack Smith and his deranged thugs in Florida have now allegedly violated the defense rights such that the case needs to be dismissed. And we're talking about a motion on selective and vindictive prosecution against Jack Smith and Jay Bratt in the classified documents case. And this comes through a motion by one of Trump's co-defendants, Walt Nauta. And you may remember Walt Nauta and his lawyer, Stanley Woodward, who got essentially threatened by Jay Bratt from Florida, saying, your client better cooperate with us, or else, Stanley, you're not going to become a judge. And Joe Biden has a say in who becomes a judge in D.C. So it was very coercive and problematic. And we're asking ourselves how far Judge Cannon is going to allow this to go. So we're going to check in with Julie Kelly when we're done here. She's been there reporting in Florida and has been doing a tremendous job. So if you're not already following her, I highly encourage it, because she has some prognostications on what the end game might look like here. But what is this motion? It's Walt's co-defendant, Walt Nauta, who was right alongside Trump in the indictment. They say he's moving the boxes, Trump's coordinating him, kind of the number two. And it's his motion to dismiss this indictment, saying Jack Smith is vindictive and this prosecution has been selective. And Trump has also filed a very similar motion on this, but we have not been able to see that yet. Trump's motion is presumably going to be unsealed, we hope, this week, and we'll see what that adds to this conversation. But there is some strong rumors that a motion like this might be granted by Cannon because the malfeasance here has been so reprehensible, it needs to be repaired. So let's get into it. 15 pages, Southern District of Florida. The case is Jack Smith, deranged thugs versus Trump, Walt, and Carlos. This is from Walt, and he says, listen, We ask this court to dismiss this entire case. Why? Jack Smith is a selective and vindictive piece of work. Now, alternatively, should this court determine that more discovery is necessary so that we can dig into these claims even further, we're happy with that too. Give us the records so that we can make our arguments to justify this case's dismissal. And if Walt is being prosecuted vindictively, okay, so is Trump, clearly. So we'll get to this. Now, they say, here's some background on Walt. Mr. Nauta, we'll call him Walt, we're friends here, is a former U.S. Navy veteran who was stationed at the White House during Trump's administration. He served as the valet to Trump. Now, following Trump's administration and Nauta's service in the Navy, Nauta was hired by Trump as an executive assistant, and he's been serving as his personal aide or his body man, right? Like with him everywhere. Now, throughout his presidency, former President Trump gathered newspapers, press clippings, letters, note cards, photographs, official documents, and other materials in cardboard boxes. He kept them at the White House. Now, in those boxes, Trump allegedly stored classified documents. Now, among them, containing information concerning national defense, whose, quote, unauthorized disclosure could put at risk the national security of the government. Now, upon the conclusion of Trump's tenure as president of the United States, Trump moved from the White House to his personal residence in Florida. And Trump's move included moving lots of cardboard boxes. Now, between January 21 and August 2022, the cardboard boxes from the White House purporting to have these documents was stored in various locations at Mar-a-Lago. And these cardboard boxes were allegedly stored in the white and gold ballroom of Mar-a-Lago from former President Trump's return in January 2021 until March 15, 2021, when Mr. Nauta allegedly transferred the boxes from the ballroom to Mar-a-Lago's business center. Wow. Now, thereafter, two employees from Trump's office discussed moving the boxes from the business center of the lake room. The boxes were eventually moved. They were put in a bathroom and a shower. In May 21, former President Trump allegedly directed that a storage room on the ground floor be cleaned out, put the boxes there. Now, at the same time, the National Archives, the head librarians of America, requested that Trump return the presidential records that they say he kept. Beginning in June 2021, NARA started issuing warnings, head librarians saying, give us our docs back. Various representatives say that if Trump did not give us our library books back, you're going to the DOJ, buddy boy, principal's office for you. Then on June 24th, after the warning, they say, the boxes were moved to the storage room. And the superseding indictment says that more than 80 boxes were stored at the storage room. So between November 21 and January 2022, Nauta and employee 2 were alleged to have brought boxes from the storage room to Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in an entry room called Pine Hall, so Trump could review them. Then on December 7th, Nauta allegedly returned to the storage room to find that several of the boxes had fallen over, and one of the documents had classification on it. Took a photo of that, texted them to Trump employee 2, and you could see that in the photos. He says, hey, the box is spilled, clean this up. You know, on or about December 29th until January, Nauta, Trump, Representative 1, Trump employee 2 allegedly conferred with one another to review the documents. They're all looking at these boxes. On January 17th, Walt and Trump and another employee, they take 15 boxes, they put them in Walt's car. Then Walt drove his car to a commercial delivery truck to give those boxes back to NARA. Now, following its review, a lot of background here, NARA referred the classified discovery to the DOJ. Then a grand jury opened up an investigation in here. With counsel present, Nauta provided a voluntary interview with the FBI. So this lawyer shows up. They say, sure, we're happy to talk to you about this. What's up? In which they discuss the 15 boxes. Nauta testified also before a grand jury. And then on August 8th, 2022, the FBI executed the search warrant, right? So 2022, they raid him. Then we continue. Now, Mr. Nauta retained the undersigned counsel, Stanley Woodward. So the raid happens on August 8th, but this guy lawyers up August 3rd with Stanley Woodward for representation regarding the ongoing grand jury investigation. On November 28th, 2022, the FBI obtained a search warrant and seizure warrant from a judge in the Southern District of Florida for 2 of Mr. Nauta's iPhones, commanding that the search warrant be executed by December 12, 2022. Says, one second, says, okay. On November 28, 2022, the FBI then obtained a search and seizure warrant from the judge in the Southern District of Florida for 2 of Nauta's phones, commanding that the warrant be executed on December 12th. Then, on December 29th at 10:37, the FBI executed that search warrant for Mr. Nauta's phones. On November 29th, these dates are right back to each other, so 29th at 10:37 a.m., then on November 29th at 10:40 a.m., after the FBI executed the search warrant against Nauta, Woodward was advised of his execution via an email. So they go take Nauta's phone, then they send him an email. We just took your client's phone. He responded to the email and says, okay, thanks for taking the phone. Please hold off on searching the phone until we could agree on an appropriate filter protocol for any applicable privileges and to seek temporary relief that's appropriate. All right. So FBI executes a bunch of stuff. Raid on Trump. Walt gets his phones jacked by these thugs. They all just get ripped off. Then immediate emails go out. And no response when he says, can we cooperate and just have some professional courtesy on filter? Because Trump has, of course, maybe there's attorney-client privilege stuff on the phone, right? Walt Nauta has a lawyer. So maybe there's text messages between the lawyer. Maybe there's text messages between Trump. Maybe there's some, old data on there that's executively privileged. Mr. Woodward, though, did not again correspond with the government as it pertained to Walt until May 8, 2023. And I'm looking up dates here. Yeah, Trump was indicted in June in Florida. So the raid was in August, and then in June he got indicted. All the indictments came in 2023. So May 8th, he was not indicted yet. He gets an email to Mr. Nauta about Mr. Nauta from the special counsel's office. This guy's name is Mr. David Raskin, not that Raskin. Special counsel emailed Woodward. In his email, Raskin states, he says, it would be good to chat with Mr. Woodward. Like, it'd be good to chat with you. And asked if Mr. Woodward would have time in the following data, grab a coffee or something, like friends. Mr. Woodward, under the impression that the encounter would be amicable insofar as the scope would pertain to Mr. Nauta's ongoing cooperation in the ongoing federal investigation, agreed to meet with Mr. Raskin. He says, okay, sure, I'll talk to you about it. On May 9th, Mr. Woodward and Mr. Raskin met and discussed, had a meeting. Now, as a follow-up to their meeting, Mr. Raskin emailed Mr. Woodward. Prosecutor emails defense on May 22nd, in which he informed Mr. Woodward to expect a target letter as to Mr. Nauta. Oh, your person's being investigated. He says, what? My client's being investigated. I just had coffee with you, dude. What? Targeted for what? Mr. Raskin noted, it was pretty self-explanatory and consistent with their conversation. He's like, what? I bought you coffee too, and you got an extra large. On May 24th, Mr. J.P. Cooney, Deputy Special Counsel, sent an email to Mr. Woodward attaching a target letter regarding the Special Counsel's investigation into possible federal criminal violations of Nauta dated May 23rd, 2023. In particular, the target letter, the investigation of Nauta is focused on violations of these various U.S. code criminal statutes. And then on June 8th, Jay Bratt, the Florida Oompa Loompa, counselor to Jack Smith, and David Harbach, they also emailed Mr. Woodward the judicial summons for his initial arraignment scheduled June 13th, 2023 in Florida. So a federal grand jury came out and indicted Mr. Nauta on June 8th, which was then superseded on July 27th. The superseding indictment alleges that Trump and Nauta and De Oliveira are alleged to have knowingly engaged in a conspiracy to obstruct justice, right? They're moving boxes around, so they're all criminals. In an effort by Trump to keep the classified documents taken from the White House during his presidency, right, that were his, and to hide and conceal those documents from a federal grand jury after a subpoena was issued because they didn't move all the boxes back to the storage room. Now, as it pertains to Mr. Nauta, the superseding indictment charges him with the following: conspiracy to obstruct justice, right? You said there were no boxes in there. Withholding a document or record in violation. Corruptly concealing a document in a federal investigation, and a bunch of other charges. So they say, look, here's the legal standard. Prosecutors must exercise discretion within constitutional constraints. Prosecutors are absolutely not supposed to be partisan hacks. They're not. They are. They're not supposed to be. But, you know, we should demand better. Selective prosecution tells us, in order to establish unconstitutional selective prosecution, they must show the following: high standard, discriminatory effect of the prosecution, and it was motivated by a discriminatory purpose. So purpose plus effect, and we go through some analysis to see how it works, but we'll fast forward through it. Now, vindictive. Was the government's justification actual vindictiveness? Actual vindictiveness is the standard. If he can show that there is some retaliatory action, and if this is just a pretext for going after somebody. What's the realistic likelihood of vindictiveness in various situations? Those are the standards. Now, they give us how that applies. They tell us Trump's body man's co-defendants, Walt Nauta's due process rights were violated when Jack Smith retaliated against the exercise of his Fifth Amendment rights. So when Walt invoked, they indicted. They say Mr. Nauta has consistently cooperated with this fake investigation at least 3 times. He's done a lot here. He was on a voluntary interview in May 2022, gave testimony to a federal grand jury in June, handed over 2 iPhones in response to a search and seizure warrant in November. Now, while Mr. Nauta declined the prosecution's request to testify before another grand jury, and such construction that his declination was anything other than cooperative would be wholly inaccurate. Mr. Nauta does not deny that in the context of a grand jury inquiry, the public has every right to every man's evidence. But the right to evidence nevertheless makes exceptions for the Fifth Amendment. Hello. It says no person shall be compelled to, in any criminal case, to be a witness against himself. And so accordingly, Mr. Nauta declined to testify before a grand jury should only be considered a lawful assertion of his Fifth Amendment rights, that right which is guaranteed under the Constitution. So when he invoked, that caused some animosity. Oh, your client's now going to remain silent, not testify in our favor against Trump? Well, we'll just charge him too. Now, in seeking to establish that he's subject to vindictive prosecution, Mr. Nauta has to demonstrate a few things. One, that there was objective evidence that Jack Smith acted with genuine animus towards him. Let's see if they do that. Now, at their May 9, 2023 informal meeting, whose invitation was posited to the lawyer Woodward as a coffee chat, let's just go and have a nice little mocha. Mr. Raskin nevertheless represented to Woodward that the prosecution would not accept anything less than Nauta's full cooperation in the investigation. He's Trump's like number 2 right next to him all the time. In particular, Raskin declined any such proposition to proffer by Mr. Woodward. Now, moreover, their discussion was exclusively concerned inquiries as to potential violations of conspiracy charges and false statements to the federal grand jury made by Mr. Nauta. Now, Jack Smith would not have prosecuted Nauta but for their genuine animus. They say here he would not have been prosecuted unless this was vindictive. He did not hear from Jack Smith with regard to Mr. Nauta since his May 9th meeting with Raskin until May 22nd when Raskin contacted him and said, you're going to be targeted now. Now, the target letter addressed more than the potential violation of Section 1001. Mr. Woodward and Mr. Raskin discussed on May 9th, in addition to that, the target letter also had inquiries into other violations of the U.S. law, saying Mr. Nauta joins Trump's selective prosecution claim for reasons in his motion, which is hopefully unsealed this week. Now, this indictment also charges Nauta, along with everyone else, for a conspiracy to obstruct justice under 1512 and others. In support of this conspiracy, the superseding indictment alleges that Trump and Nauta and De Oliveira conspired to the following, suggesting that Trump's attorney falsely represented to the FBI that Trump did not have any documents. They moved the boxes to conceal them. They say that Trump's lawyer told him to hide or destroy documents, blah, blah, blah. But to prevail on this claim, he must demonstrate that this has a discriminatory effect on him, that other individuals that were engaged in the same type of conduct as Mr. Nauta were not prosecuted. And secondly, Mr. Nauta must also demonstrate that the decision to prosecute was rooted in a discriminatory purpose, that it's brought in bad faith, improper, impermissible motive. Here are those allegations. They say the allegations in the superseding indictment reveal that the charges against Nauta depend heavily on the temporal nexus between his conduct in moving the boxes and NARA's demand and the grand jury demand. The current discovery in the present case also reveals that several individuals were involved in the same type of conduct, okay? A lot of people just moved boxes around, which is all this dude did, in the same time, manner, or place as Nauta. But they're not criminally investigated, and they're not being charged with anything. Now, in the grand jury testimony, so-and-so, a personal valet for Trump, and an interview blank with the FBI, this person was an executive assistant to so-and-so. They note that blank, 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 and blank, blank, blank to bring a scan box, someone else did something, to a personal car from Trump's office. These are all examples of other people moving boxes. The scan box remained in this person's car overnight. They didn't get charged. After that, they put the scan box over here. They said, uh-oh, the lawyers had never seen the scan box. They realized that. They put the box back in the office, which they did. Then someone also testified. And similarly, this person was also unaware of the fact that there was an additional search by the lawyers. And so this person did this thing, and they weren't charged either. Now, keeping consistent with Jack Smith's assertion that whether this or this person knew of the scan box, no one was charged. And so for the reasons here, the court should dismiss the charges alleged against Mr. Nauta because he has been selectively and vindictively prosecuted, or give us more evidence so that we can investigate this and support our claims. Signed by Stanley Woodward Jr., defense attorney for Walt Nauta in the classified documents case. And so it's interesting. Walt's criminality is really moving boxes around. A lot of people move boxes around, and that's the basis for their claim. So what's going to happen here if Judge Cannon agrees with the defense and says, you know, a lot of people have been charged with a lot of different things here that others have not been charged with. For example, Ronald Reagan didn't get raided. Bill Clinton didn't get raided with his sock drawer problem. Joe Biden hasn't gotten raided in any of his classified documents cases. Neither did Mike Pence. So the list goes on and on. Hillary Clinton escaped charges for literally destroying evidence. How did that work? So here's what Julie Kelly says. And she has been in there at these proceedings, and she can see the demeanor. She can see the judge's body language and the facial expressions. And so here's what she says. You know, there's a chance, responding to this question, says, what is the end game, I'm wondering, with all these document releases? Why is all this being unsealed? Do you think Judge Cannon is going to dismiss the case? Julie Kelly says that there is a chance that she dismisses the case based on selective and vindictive prosecution, which she hinted at during the hearing last month. Says it could be her way of getting as much evidence into the public square to justify such a decision. Says part of me also thinks that she wants this to go to trial to expose just how dirty the case is and to force Jack Smith to come out and own it. Says we shall see. So very good updates and posts from Julie Kelly. Always encourage you to check out Julie Kelly at Julie_Kelly2. And she does great work. Now, the other Substack that I wanted to mention comes from our friend Elliot over on Locals. And I am allowing this one to load. If it will load for us here in a second. For whatever reason, it is taking a quick second to load. But our friend Elliot has written a good piece. Let me see if I can, I do not know why this is not loading. We're just going to give it a second because it's a good piece and I wanted to reference it. Here it is. Okay, this is, yeah, Google was just being wonky. I want to recommend this Substack and some of this work from our friend Elliot. And so let me share this link with us right here. It is at philippics.substack.com. And he is noting another interesting thing here about this burn bag conversation. So in the prior segment, we were talking about this unredacted sentence says that sometimes documents that Trump did not return could be disposed of, discarded of in a burn bag. Common method of disposing the classified documents for appropriate destruction. It's curious. So does that mean that if he could have destroyed them, that maybe they're not actually presidential records? They're something that the DOJ, in other words, the executive branch doesn't have authority over, doesn't have jurisdiction over. This is from Elliot. He's at philippics.substack.com. I'd encourage you to go check it out. He's doing some great work on the Florida classified documents case. Some very heavy lifting on this. And I'll encourage you to check that out. We'll add the links in the description below. But my friends, that is it on this segment. What is the end game? Is this going to be something that results in a dismissal? Time will tell. We'll be here continuing to cover it as this case unfolds. Thank you for joining us as we do. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share our channel with a friend or family member so that they too can see what is happening in the filings behind the scenes. We'll look forward to seeing you over here and, of course, on our members-only community at watchingthewatchers.locals.com, where we do members-only streams 6 days a week in the morning, talking about a bunch of other stuff that we can't get to here. We have a lot of fun. We'd love to have you join us. Become a member, watchingthewatchers.locals.com, and we'll see you back over there and here on the next one. All right, and so let me drop in that Elliot link so that we can share that. And we'll also drop that in the chat over on a couple of these locations. Although I don't know why that didn't do that. Let me see if this will work better. Here, that'll work better. Okay, I don't know what's going on. All right, so we got one final segment left on the day. We have this segment. It's getting to be maddening in Arizona, my friends. And so let's close out the day with Kris Mayes from Arizona and the new attack underway here. Starting right now. Arizona Attorney General indicts 18 people. They happen to be Trump lawyers and other people who are in high positions in the Arizona GOP. And what a perfect time to launch an indictment just months before the election occurs. Why might they do it? Well, Arizona not looking so good for them in the polls. And so what's another lawfare campaign going to do to hurt their chances? They think that they can get a lot of leverage out of it. We'll see if that's true or not. But we've got the full indictment. We'll go through. We'll see what's inside. It's a very similar case to what we've seen in Georgia and other alternate electors charges. They keep calling them fake electors. We know that the proper terminology is alternate electors because the Democrats have done this in Hawaii. But who is this person who's behind all this? Her name is Attorney General Kris Mayes. She's basically the Arizona version of Letitia James. And rumors about whether she takes her shoes off in court are still out. We still don't know whether she does like Tish does or not, but time will tell. But she's somebody who is, like the rest of them, very much a Democrat and very much an anti-Trumper. She says that Joe Biden must get elected. She went and visited the White House. And of course, the poll's not looking good for Arizona. So why not indict all of the Trumpers? Here is a clip from her before we get into the indictment itself. Who is Kris Mayes? Well, here it is. This clip comes over from our friend Greg Price on the X. He dug this one up with Kris Mayes over on MSNBC. They're all in favor of justice, but they all show up to talk about how badly they have to use their positions of power to prosecute Trump.
Well, as my colleague from Massachusetts just mentioned, we absolutely have to get President Biden reelected, because one of my fears is, despite the fact that Republicans said they wanted to send this back to states for states to decide, I think there's a real movement in the sort of extreme elements of
these rights.
All right, so hopefully you can wake up from her tonality there, but we have to get Joe Biden elected. She happens to be the attorney general for the state of Arizona, has a lot of political and charging power in her position, and she is using it accordingly. Now, who may have prompted this? Where did this all come from? Well, she may have done some visitations with the White House. Here is what the Oversight Project has pulled up for us. It says, more White House coordinated election interference. Always go digging. You always find it. Kristen Mays showed up at the White House, and looks like maybe she was there for 4 days. Appointment was, no, 1 day. The appointment was made on the 14th. It started on the 18th, ended on the 18th. And visitee last name, first name. Let's see what's going on here. Or who are they visiting? Okay, so someone at the OEOB. Escobar, Analessi Escobar is the name of the probably woman that she was meeting with at the OEOB. Isn't that curious? Yeah, so once again, going to the White House to collude with them. Now, why is this something that is happening now? Well, maybe because Arizona is not going their way. Arizona is a pretty big battleground state. And this is what the polls look like from Nate Silver, Project 35. Trump's up 43 to 39. Kennedy's down at a 10% number there. And so why not indict a bunch of people? Look who these people are, who they indicted. Total of 18 people. This is what the Arizona docket looks like. I took a screenshot from our court system earlier today, and it is still unpopulated. This case is still brand spanking new. They're getting everybody served, and we still don't see the names of the people who have ultimately been charged on the court docket, but we do know who their names are based on other reporting. And here are some of the people on the list. Rudy Giuliani, who's also already been charged, got indicted. Mark Meadows, basically the same people that we saw in Big Fanny's RICO case. Jenna Ellis, who took a plea deal on that one. She's already pleaded guilty in Georgia, and it's to a diversion deal. So it's going to go away and she'll be totally exonerated according to Georgia law, but she still took a guilty plea and then, cried about it as she was trying to imprison Harrison Floyd. John Eastman also got indicted again. Christina Bobb as well. And Michael Roman, you remember him and his attorney, Ashley Merchant from Georgia, who was the person behind blowing the whole lid off the Fannie Nathan Wade hot dog scandal. So they all got indicted. The question is why. Couple ideas on how this lawfare impacts everything. It's a big, big problem. And it's free money. It's free effort. It's the government, right? The government's going to be there anyways. Cost the Democrats nothing to launch one of these things. It is useful for the politicians and their political spectacle. They want to raise money. What better time to raise money than going after Trump? And they're going to make this whole thing about democracy, right? So their profiles get elevated. They get to write more books, have more MSNBC appearances, all the things. And simultaneously, it's free. It costs them nothing. It's going to drain GOP resources, their time, their money. Everyone has to lawyer up. It's going to dissuade anybody from challenging 2024 when they rig it again like they did in 2022, when the day of voting, half the machines don't work in majorly red areas all around Arizona. Is anybody going to want to challenge them this next go round? Or maybe they'll be indicted again. Sidelining other GOP activists. Okay, not only the people named in this, 18 people who, as we'll see, are the heads of major, portions of the Arizona GOP, all going to be sidelined. And there's a political attack now opportunity on both levels. One on Republicans in general. They tried to steal our election. And then also on Trump, okay? You've already seen this little moniker around. Trump's an unindicted co-conspirator. It's a scary word. Everybody likes to say that. It's like, yeah, but he's an unindicted co-conspirator. You're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? He had some people who wrote an alternate elector effort like the Democrats have done. Okay. So those are the reasons why. Now, who else is on this list? Bunch of other people. Robert Montgomery, former chairman of Cochise County, the Republican committee, right? So, high up person in Cochise County, which is another county here. Gila County, Samuel Moorhead. Lorraine Pellegrino, former president of the Ahwatukee Republican Women. Gregory Safston, former executive director of the AZ GOP. Okay, so they're going after the GOP. It's not just Trump lawyers. It's Arizona GOP people. James Lehman tried to run for Senate, didn't win. Michael Ward, husband of Kelly Ward. Tyler Bauer from Turning Point USA, CEO, apparently got indicted. What? Senator Anthony Kern, member of the Arizona Freedom Caucus. Arizona Senator Jake Hoffman got indicted. Kelly Ward got indicted. Arizona GOP chairwoman. Right? It's a lot of people. So these are all people, Boris Epshteyn, going after top performers, right? People who actually do things in Arizona in the election to take out their opponents. So we now know what's going on. Let's take a look at the indictment and we'll just see what's inside. We'll get the highlights of it. But you see, this is brought out by Kris Mayes, Attorney General from the state of Arizona. And it is in the Superior Court, Maricopa County. This is our big county. This is where Phoenix is. And this is our felony level court. And these are all serious felonies, class 2 felonies, which is basically the upper scale. We have murder higher than that, but that's it. We got Kelly Ward, who's got charged, and all these other people have now been named, but these names were not unsealed yet, and so we now know who they are. We just went through all 18 of them. And so what are the various charges? Conspiracy, class 2 felony. Conspiracy is for various offenses. They're all charged with this. It's going to be the same thing as the RICO case. Fraudulent schemes and artifices, which these are going to be false documents, right? False instruments for filings. You created a fraud by creating some documents. Count 2, same thing. Now, those names were redacted. So the first count looks like it's a general conspiracy count, right? And conspiracy, general conspiracy count. Then in the other counts, they're going to give us the specific crimes. So fraudulent schemes and artifices, it is this one, fraudulent pretenses, preventing the lawful transfer of power by depriving Arizona voters of their right to vote. Okay. Now, here we go. Yeah, 2 certificates of votes. So the false writings now, forgery. You were not actual alternate electors, so the certificate of votes is forged. Forgery, same thing here. Count 6, so all the different forgery charges. And every single document that they signed. 2 certificates of votes. Going to the Archivist of the United States. This one's going to the federal court. Okay, so same things, but going to different locations. So this one went to the federal district court. This fraudulent document went to the Archivist of the United States. This fraudulent document also went to the Archivist. This is the Republican electors fraudulent doc. It's the same thing. So it's basically the Georgia case all over again, not in a RICO format, but here is the rest of the indictment. In Arizona, United States, people so-called elected Joe Biden. And look at this one. Unwilling to accept this fact, the defendants and unindicted conspirators, like unindicted co-conspirator 1, prevented the lawful transfer, a scheme to prevent the lawful transfer of power to the new president. They deceived the citizens of Arizona. And Trump urged Pence to declare him the winner of the election, but that scheme failed. They give us some background on the presidential elections. We know happens first Tuesday of November. Trump ran for real. Just say his name. Okay, just say it. Put it in there. It says the Electoral Count Act says we have to follow what the states say. Kind of. They changed it all after the fact. Here are the people who got charged. Kelly Ward. She was the chair of the Arizona Republican Party, and she declared the Arizona Republican electors as the true electors and urged Pence to accept them. Tyler Bauer from Turning Point, which is like, wow. So they're going after Turning Point? Charlie Kirk? How dare they? After voting, Bauer made statements indicating he intended to have Pence accept the false electoral votes, and he did not withdraw his vote. Nancy Cottle, chairperson, Arizona Republican presidential electors, voted for Trump Pence as a fake elector. We would say alternate. The Hoffmans, Kearns, James Lehman, who has run for Senate here, Robert Montgomery, Samuel Moorhead, Lorraine Pellegrino, Gregory Safston, and Michael Ward. They also say that they attempted to declare Trump and Pence the winners of the election contrary to the law. The following is a brief summary of their roles. An attorney for unindicted co-conspirator 1, that's Trump, who is often identified as the mayor. I wonder who that could be. Rudy Giuliani had spread false information at Arizona Board of Supervisors meetings. This person was an attorney who encouraged Republican electors to vote and spread false claims. Maybe that's Christina Bobb, or maybe that was Jenna Ellis. Another one was an attorney and an advisor to Trump. So-and-so was blah, 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 was instrumental in creating this scheme. Another redacted attorney also lobbied Republican legislators. And this was this is Mark Meadows. So this is Mark Meadows right here, was unindicted co-conspirator. He worked with members of the Trump campaign, and so they all got indicted. Sick. Now, unindicted co-conspirator, a former president of the United States. Another one, former member of the Arizona legislature. It'll be interesting to see who all these people are when it ultimately comes out. Another attorney was unindicted for the Trump campaign, drafted memos. Another unindicted co-conspirator. We'll see if they ultimately are indicted. Maybe they'll turn around and decide to indict them. We've seen superseding indictments before. So background, as the states continued to count votes, Trump would lose the election. And he said that, look at it's just a lot of language, speaking indictments, Arizona lawsuits. Trump campaign, Kelly Ward sent a text message that says, "What the heck?" and asked blank, are our lawyers in Arizona afraid of being blackballed by the left? Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, if they get indicted, unfortunately. Kelly Ward sued all 11 Democrat Party electors, and the court dismissed the lawsuit. Kelly Ward appealed the case. There was pressure on election officials. We've heard from many of these people. Bill onesie twosie Gates. We just got to fix a couple onesie twosies on our election systems and everything will be fine. What? Bill? What? Unindicted co-conspirators and others, they tried to contact supervisors, and Kelly Ward sent a bunch of text messages out. Tea Party Metro was out. All right, so there's a lot here. We're not going to read the whole thing here. You can see what it looks like. Bowers, here's Kelly Ward. She posted on social media talking about Rusty Bowers, right? She was putting pressure on him. Our election was rigged. Governor Doug Ducey at the end of 2020, Ducey was the governor. They called him. Trump posted a series of tweets berating Ducey for certifying our rigged election. So then there were discussions about the Republican electors, and the plan evolved through Trump campaign memos. Arizona congressional representatives texted various things. Numerous unindicted co-conspirators. There's a lot of language about unindicted co-conspirators in this indictment. It's very curious. Look at all these unindicted co-conspirators. Then the Supreme Court dismissed Texas versus Pennsylvania and just allowed the rigged election to march on. Trump made a bunch more posts. We lived through it. We're familiar with it. Jason Miller texted Justin Clark, White House attorney. Just got a call from Rudy. He says we're, working on this stuff. All right. So here's the full indictment. And it's just what it looks like. They're digging up all their social media, all their text messages. These were people who were engaging in an alternate elector plan which was lawful and allowed. They even changed the rules and what Mike Pence is allowed to do as the president of the Senate, as the vice president. So it's more social. Okay, Michael Ward posted some stuff. Hey, I'm on the phone with Trump. Proud to cast my vote as one of 11 legitimate electors for Trump. What a conspiracy. So he got indicted, a true bill by Arizona grand jury. And as we know, you can indict a ham sandwich. Even Judge Alito says, yeah, sometimes a grand jury won't actually indict, and sometimes we get eclipses as well. So it's exactly what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. It's the same thing we've seen in all of the other alternate electoral prosecutions. These Democrats are not that intelligent, so they just copy and paste each other's homeworks. Okay, Michigan's investigating their alternate electors. Same thing's happening in Arizona. And we'll continue to cover it. Now, the big question is going to be whether they've got the cojones, Kristen, to actually indict Trump. We know you really want to. We know what this is all about. So we'll see if that drops before the election or not. Is this trial going to go before the election? Absolutely not. I don't think any way, shape, or form does that happen before the election. But as I mentioned, the same benefits to the left still come out. This is going to be very expensive for everybody who's involved. Everybody on that list is a big, big proponent of the GOP and Trump and conservative politics. So now all of their attention, 18 of some of the best getters out there, are now going to be, minus Jenna Ellis, are going to be sidelined yet again with another criminal prosecution that is underway. And so we're going to be here continuing to cover this litigation and the rest of them. Of course, Arizona is my backyard, so we're very familiar with this. Maybe we'll even run down there if there's a big hearing or something to see what's happening in the courts. But we stream stuff here, so maybe that won't be necessary. But we're going to be here continuing to cover it, my friends. So thank you for subscribing to our channel and for liking this video. Thank you so much for inviting a friend or family member to come over here. Check out some of the work we're doing here together. We'd very much appreciate that. We also have our members-only community at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We do member streams in the morning, 6 days a week. We'd love to have you join us, including on Saturdays. And so thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting our work. Thanks for coming and meeting some more amazing people over there. We'll see you there and back here on the next one. All right, my friends. Well, that is it for us on the day. We covered some good ground. Another frustrating indictment. Like, you guys are just pieces of work. We'll cover that one. We've got Jack Smith violating the defendant's rights, seizing their cell phones, and not even consulting with the defense about it. And the raid at Mar-a-Lago, turns out they were after Melania's residence and her dimensions. They wanted Melania's dimensions. Sick FBI feds. All right, now, my friends, it's time to hear from you. Let's see what you have to say about this over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com is where we'll go for our members only debrief. We have some amazing donos that came in, and very grateful for those. Thank you for supporting us. I see some friends over on YouTube to start the day off. This one from Bud Smokius says, Trump 2024, baby. Save America from Biden. That's a great photograph right there. That's like three different J's in his mouth. And is that that's the guy from The Fifth Element, isn't it? Yeah, it is. What's up? This one from Knox Bierman says, happy Monday, all. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We partied in honor of my 3-year-old grandson, Ethan. They had a kid construction party, digging in the dirt, wearing hard hats and little safety vests. Adorable. That sounds awesome. Yeah. 3-year-old's a good time to decide what you're going to do. Are you going to be a construction kid? Are you going to be like a sharks kid? Are you going to be a space kid? Those, I think, are basically your only options. So construction's awesome. Good choice. 1917 Beamer says Michigan is doing these indictments with an unindicted co-conspirator. Yeah, did they indict? I think they did. They did indict too, right? Dinosaurs. Okay, dinosaurs are fair. You can also do dinosaurs. That's the fourth option. That's it too. But that's it. You got to pick one. All right, 1917 Beamer. Good to see you. We've got DJ says, I heard that Michigan is following Arizona trying to indict President Trump. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And it's kind of curious as to why they didn't indict him. He's all over that indictment. He's kind of the lead person. Kris, are you just waiting on this one? What's up? 1917 Beamer says, AZ and Michigan are just waiting for one of those other cases not to go their way, and then they'll indict Trump. I see. Yeah, so they'll just keep those kind of on the back burner, on the warmer, and then when the others fail, they'll just throw Trump in there too. They may need to see how the polls are going before they decide to pull the trigger on that. What's going on? Michael A., our newest supporter. Very nice to see you, Michael A. Thank you for joining us as a member on the YouTubes. We'll see you tomorrow on our members-only stream in the morning. Twins Mama. What's up, Twins Mama? Says, as a green card holder, I'm offended that people illegally can get benefits that I can't get as a legal resident. I'm frustrated by the stupidity. Yeah, you are not alone on that one, Twins Mama. You are joined by a lot of other people who are here legally, who are watching these same things happen. It's quite shocking, actually. And I'm not even in New York, but apparently they're getting credit cards in New York or something, and free housing. And then they protest when they don't have that anymore or something. It's wild times, wild times. And thanks for that, Twins Mama. Thank you, first of all, for coming here legally and for being a member on our channel. It's great to have you. We got Michael A. Says, I've watched your videos for a year and I've learned so much. Thanks for your insight and your sharing of knowledge. Look forward to many more videos. Michael, thank you for saying that. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being a membo. There will be many more. There will be many more. I feel like we're just getting warmed up here. We got a whole country to save and lives to liberate, man, ours. So we're going to be here a while, Michael. Thanks for joining us, my man, and for being here supporting us. We got Chubby says, who is taking bets that Witness X is either Hillary Hinton or Clavicle Girl? Could be. You think it was Clavicle Girl, Cassidy Hutchinson, frolicking around Mar-a-Lago? Who could it be? Who is that one? It sounded like it was Leaf Blower Guy. You know, it was like maintenance guy. Leaf Blower Guy could have been the one. You never know. We have concerns about our own leaf blower guy. I mean, I really appreciate the great work he does removing the leaves, but he also might be a Fed. I don't know. Bill Two Labs. What's up, Bill? First super on a live stream. Thanks for that, Bill. Always great to be your first, and we're thankful for the dono and for the membership. Glad to have you here. Hey, travel agent Amy, who is legitimately a travel agent. Okay, she's on locals. She sends me great. She's like, Rob, go to this cruise over here. I'm like, okay, I will. I promise. They're great. They're great. She's great. I've been watching recordings and want to thank everyone for their prayers and concerns. Elkhorn, Blair, and Omaha in Nebraska got hit hard. The minimal injury was an act of God. They said it has been 11 years since an EF5. Well, let's plan on breaking that record. Mendon, Iowa was torn up. Very scary night in the basement. Prayers, yeah, for you, travel agent Amy, and all of our friends in Nebraska. I know we were looking at some of this last weekend on Saturday, and I think we woke up this morning and there was more. And it was, yeah, it's been brutal. I've seen some imagery of it. It's like, you know, a horror movie. It's really, really, really scary stuff. So prayers for everybody out there, all of our friends impacted by this. We're praying for a quick recovery and thinking about you. Thank you, travel agent, for saying that. Catherine Rex says, we have a baby. We sure do, 9 months, but I broke my foot in the hospital and I miss you. Oh, man. Did you break it having the baby? How'd that happen? Like hopping around, trying to get it out? Hey, get out. Broken ankle? Well, heal up there, Catherine Rex. I hope seriously that you're okay. I mean, it sounds like you might actually be in the hospital, so I don't want to joke about that. But speedy recovery to you, Catherine, and welcome to our newest baby. Hey, MAGA Hat says, yeah, just in, Hunter Biden launches a war against Fox News. He's suing them. Hannity, Bartiromo, Waters. They all got told to preserve the documents. Yeah, maybe they'll pay him $1 billion too, idiots. This old guy says, my experience with being interviewed and having a 302 commemorating it, I'm reminded of the lyrics of Arlo Guthrie's Alice Restaurant. He looked at me and said, kid, we don't like your kind. We're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington. And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. So I'm not familiar with that song, this old guy, but it sounds like a classic. And thanks for the dono. And you've been interviewed by the feds? It's not fun. Good to see you, this old guy. Kylos Rex says, so clearly Trump has some docs that they want, and all those magazines with him, and the cover was a troll. Yeah, like it would be funny if all the documents were, all the boxes had like, FBI opened it up and it said to the FBI, FBI, will you be my Valentine? Question mark, you know? And they're like, what is this giant heart box? Will you be my Valentine? Huh? Trump? They're like, yes, I will. We love you. Okay. So Kylos, I don't know. Maybe he was. What's up, Tenil? Tenil H. Yeah, man, we had a great showing today. Tenil. Thank you for that. Yeah, and thanks for everybody who joined us. It was a fun day. Real with Robo says Jack Smith threatened Judge Cannon, and Cannon unseals and unredacts this. She ain't scared. Jack Smith has a history of political prosecutions. Well, it's showing its face here, and my understanding is from our friend Julie Kelly that it's pretty serious that Judge Cannon is not happy about that. Revco says, proof the FBI hires incels. Yeah, and look at him too. But here's the question. Do you have to answer questions from the FBI or can you just remain silent? It seems like 99% of this BS would be solved by just remaining silent. Yeah, I mean, you can generally remain silent. So, but they'll threaten you with charges, right? Well, you're going to be charged with a crime if you don't talk. And so you try to be cooperative at times to insulate yourself, right? It's always important to have a lawyer come talk to you. But basically what Walt's lawyer was doing was trying to balance, walk this tightrope. And maybe he shouldn't have spoken. Maybe he shouldn't have talked to the police, but maybe they would have indicted him anyways. You try to balance it out, but generally remaining silent is the best strategy. But this is a complicated situation as well, right? They've got a lot of moving parts, and it sounds like Walt thought he was actually being friendly. Like, we're still trying to gauge the nature of the FBI investigation. Were they thinking that other people were, like, Russians were coming in and Walt was helping prevent the Russians? But you're right. I mean, he got charged with crimes for speaking to them and telling them that I moved stuff, or, oh, good, great, you moved, you lied. So maybe it would have been wiser for him to be silent. Bad Poet says, Cannon should not dismiss this until more redactions are released and ordering the thief Jack Smith to give back the Trump boxes. So in other words, let's let this puppy cook a little bit. Let's see what else is inside before we just dismiss this case. Good to see you, Bad Poet. Lisa G, our newest supporter over on the YouTubes. Welcome aboard, Lisa G. Great to have you. Knox says, the Arizona Attorney General needs some toner and press powder. That sheen on her giant 5 head is blinding to us. Yeah, Chris Mays. Giant 5 head on her head. Gypsy Mew says, Evan P. Corcoran, Rob, the Democrat who infiltrated NARA to set up Trump. It's Evan P. Corcoran. That's the other witness. He's been identified. Oh, interesting. So Democrat who infiltrated NARA, who set up Trump. Maybe that was one of the witnesses. Very curious. Yeah. We now know Felix says, haven't all the voting machines already been proven in court to be hacked? I don't know that that's been the case and can be used by totalitarians to gain and keep power just like they did in other countries. The same machines were used. Yeah, I wish it were that cut and dry. Like, I don't think I've seen a judge issue that ruling. It'd be fun if they did. They should. The closest I can think of is Judge Amy Totenberg, which is the judge in Georgia. And she issued the opinion that said, yeah, it's a problem. She said it's kind of a big problem, but she didn't go so far as to say, Putin can just adjust the knobs. What's up? Knox is here. Shared this one. This apparently is a LinkedIn to Annalise Escobar. Annalise Escobar. And this is what she looks like. Office of Presidential Personnel. So this is who Chris Mays met with. So she's probably just a liaison. Presidential personnel, right? Just a liaison. Special assistant to the president for domestic agency personnel. Yeah, that's it. Meet and greets people. Having everything, people just come and go. All right, we got words mean things, which is true, they do. Hey, okay, we got, okay, absolutely. We got you, words. Says, hey, Rob and Watchers fam, I'm asking for prayers tomorrow morning. Says, I'm having a diagnostic outpatient surgery. Surgery itself should be pretty simple, but I'm asking for prayers for a smooth procedure and good lab results. Thank you. You got it, words. We're praying for you. Surgery is always a bit of a big deal. Always a little bit nerve-wracking, a little anxiety, causing. But I'm sure you've got the best of care ahead of you and people who are going to be looking out for you very well. We're going to be sending you love, prayers, and energy. You're going to wake up tomorrow feeling just amazing. So grateful that this is done and in the past, and you're moving on in better health. And we're praying for your words. The whole Watcher fam is. Prayers to you. Amen on that words. Much love and good luck tomorrow. We'll see you in the aftermath. We got Glocky says, she was visiting Kamala for almost 8 hours. If you look at the time, Kamala is a former prosecutor, so that's probably why all these Democrat AGs and DAs are visiting her. It gives Biden plausible deniability. So you think Kamala is the one who's executing this whole charade. Good to see you, Glocky. Could very well be true. Yeah, the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. I know that building. Yeah. Yeah, if you've been to D.C., you walk right, giant building. Interesting. So that's what they were doing. All right, what is that one? I don't know what that one is. Neuro says, can the legislature in Arizona do anything to hold a rogue AG accountable? This lawfare is out of control. Not that I can think of off the top of my head, other than maybe impeach somebody, But is that going to happen? No. So otherwise, I don't think so. I mean, you can, same things that we've been talking about in Georgia. It can, hold hearings, investigate, defund maybe, but nothing consequential. It's the same conversation. It's the same template that we saw with Fannie, essentially. Felix says, meanwhile, the southern border is wide open. Looks like all Democrats and only make enforcement policies of law that target their political opponents and policies to allow illegal immigrants to run amok that cost citizens their lives. Yeah, and charges people with crimes. In fact, I think I saw today, courtesy of our friend Sean, who is on X, he said, I retweeted him today, he said that George Allen Kelly has not been recharged in Arizona, which is good news. So that's very good news. Target their political opponents and policies to allow illegal immigrants to run amok and cost citizens their lives. Good comment, Felix. Chubby says, really shocked Kari Lake isn't on the AZ indictment list. Since you're familiar with the area, what would you say are the chances it'll go to an activist judge? Well, good question. I'm assuming it really depends on the county and the district it takes place in. Well, it's Maricopa. So Maricopa is turning bluer. It's the big city. So if anywhere it's going to be bluer, we're not getting like a rural judge. Also, do you think of any new revelations like no signature matching from the recent bar license hearing can or will be used by the defense? I'm sure that they will. I don't know that they'll be consequential in any way, like in a motion to dismiss or something like that. But the case is still extremely fresh. It's not even hardly on the docket yet. So we'll keep our eye on it, Chubby. Thanks for that. Felix says, all indictments are insane. Brandon is in office, so nothing happened with the, quote, change of power. The conspiracy cover-up is of the hacked voting machines and out of thin air forged mail-in ballots that they don't want to look at. And they'd rather just indict other people so that you don't question them the next time this happens. It's great to see you, Felix. Thank you for the nice one. B-Man says, don't forget the last election. They just closed the polling places. Yeah, in Arizona, 2022. Yeah, in Arizona, says B-Man. A bunch of the machines just stopped working conveniently. Isn't that interesting? The day of elections, when most in-person votings for Kari Lake would be, or in-person votes would be for Kari Lake, huge swaths of the machines just stopped working. Felix, thank you, Felix, says Prime Minister Justin of Canada, that little dictator up there, and President Brandon of the United States are having a meeting. Justin says, I only pee sitting down. And Joe says, yeah, well, I just crap my pants. All right. Bad Poet says, just say it. Trump was right. I have no problem saying that. Gentifer says, Ranch, George Allen Kelly won't be retried. Thanks for covering the story before, Rob. I'm sure you must be jumping for joy at the recent decision after a mistrial. What's up, Gentifer, over on the Rumbles? Yeah, it was great news. So potentially criminal Sean is where I first saw that. I retweeted him today on that. But I know John McGarvey on our locals has been following, and many of you have been following. So it's great news for George Allen Kelly. Should have never been charged in the first place. What's up? Massa Trips on locals says, can all the defendants' lawyers now introduce all the evidence that our Supreme Court refused to review the other day for no standing that Kerry Lake and Patrick Burns have collected proving Maricopa's corruption. So they can, they can try, right? They can try to say that there was a legitimate election that justified their opinion. But I think what the indictment is ultimately going to say is that the state had made a decision and that they created documents to undermine the state's decision. It's not necessarily about why they created the documents. It's about the creation of the documents. And so, of course, there's going to be, I think, there will be some major attempts by the government to preclude a lot of the why. It's not relevant to this. Like, did you do it or not? Did the state say it was already decided, yes or no? So one side will try to bring all of this in. The other side will try to keep all of it out. And the question is, where do we find it in the middle? And that's up to the judge and the trial. This old guy says, yes, no, and I have no idea how to answer FBI questions. Yeah, it's not. They're looking for reasons to charge you with the crime or to create leverage to use you to charge someone else with the crime. It's not because they're like your friends and they want to just have coffee. Lady Ice says, Alice's Restaurant is definitely a classic and a must listen to every Thanksgiving at our house. Also, a hilarious song by Afro Man, I Got High, had been redone by them and now titled Hunter Got High. Not for the live show, but you have to watch the new video. Hunter Got High. Sounds like a good one. Hey, what's up? Randy B says, great show, Rob. Do you have an update on Trump's lawyer in Georgia whom was getting disbarred? Specifically, the info about Georgia not having the equipment for signature verification. So there's a lot. So I originally thought you were thinking about John Eastman, but now the question about equipment for signature verification sounds like a separate issue. And for that issue, I think that makes me think of Amy Totenberg's opinion about how bad the elections were. And there were some conversations about signatures, I think, in that opinion. Those are the only two things I have keyed off on. But John Eastman has also been charged in Arizona. So, and I think he has been officially recommended for disbarment. I don't know if he's officially disbarred or if he's appealing that, but I think he's been recommended for disbarment. So hopefully that gives us something to jump off on there, Randy. But you're on locals. We'll see afterwards if I missed what you were asking. Lady Ice says, my favorite part of Alice's Restaurant is when the cops have their 8x10 glossy photos of the crime in court and the judge walks in with his seeing eye dog, another case of blind justice. Liberium says, illegals will be voting in November. They want to flip Texas. What can we do to stop this garbage? They cheated in 2020. They will do it again. Probably. Yeah, I think that they probably will. In fact, I'm pretty sure that, they will. They absolutely will. It's got to be too big to rig. We got to bring everybody out to come vote. We got to keep our energy high. And I know it feels like voting might be the least, effective thing that we can do, but I think it's important that we do it. We got to drag everybody we know. We got to keep our energy up, stay engaged. A big part of all this lawfare is to disengage you, by the way. And not talking to anybody who is here joining us, but it's to deflate people. For many of us here, it animates us. Every time they indict Trump, I'm like, okay, I just got 10 times stronger, right? Not me physically, but angry, energized. I just got 10x more energy. All right, let's do it again. But we're all here, if you're here, probably a little bit, on the edge of some analysis, where other people, they just get grossed out, they get deflated, they get unplugged. They don't want to politics is too stressful or it's too gross or it's too dirty. And they're okay with that. We got to bring those people back into the fold, show them, you see this, what's going on around you? It's a result of that disengagement. We need you to get back engaged, get back in the game, and let's go make America great again, baby. We got Jennifer says, have a beautiful Monday, Rob and Watcher fam. Good to see you, Jennifer. It is a beautiful Monday, and thanks for coming on by here, Jennifer. We got this one from Stephen M. says, if you want a dispo of classified documents, there is a tedious procedure to put in the burn barrel, top secret and SCI clearance here to dispose of it before you put it in a burn barrel. Tedious procedure to put it in the burn barrel. You got to have all sorts of clearances there. Very curious, Stephen. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I've been reading Elliot, who has been educating us. Felix says, tell the feds to leave the written questions at your lawyer's office. We'll get back to them when you and your lawyer finish the questionnaire. See if the feds comply with that. Unlikely to do that, but maybe. Felix, good to see you, Felix. Thank you for the lovely dono. And Jennifer, another great one, says, so much great advice in the chat today. A million thanks, watchers. And a great comment from Jennifer. I just saw that one come in. What's up, Jennifer? Thanks for saying that one. Let's say hello to our friends on X before we wrap it up and go on over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party, where we debrief and hang out a little bit to see what the heck is going on over there. Who is on X? Anyone watching the show there today? A couple comments. Hey, what's up, Fred? We got James Peppers over there. Danny McWilliams says, my brain hurts, Rob. It's all your fault. I'll take some responsibility for that. We had a lot of reading today. What's up, Phil Reno? We got Crypto Nerd says, watching from Texas. Phil Reno is here. Al Holman says, alternative electors are preserving GOP's voters' rights in case of election malfeasance. Exactly right. It's exactly right. And what's up, James Pepper is over there. And Fred Pedamonte also found who this is, Annalise Escobar, for us, who is the person Chris Mays was meeting with. My friends, you can follow us on X at Rob Govea ESQ. We post our videos and our shorts over there. And this is LawTube Sean is the handle. LawTube Sean, potentially criminal. LawTube Sean is the other gentleman who has been on the tubes covering George Allen Kelly. But my friends, that is it for us on the day. We are going over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party. And we would love to see you come and join us over there. We also have our website, robertgovea.com, daily newsletters there, show reports, PDFs there, show store calendar. If you want to add the calendar to your phone, you can do that there. Watcherlodge.com is our sovereignty and self-development platform. We have our meetup happening, Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, baby, on June 29th. Go on and RSVP at watcherlodge.com. Only if you're seriously coming. We're going to meet there and we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come check it out. We also have our Sovereignty Saturdays. We had a great Sovereignty Saturday this weekend. We talked about all of the headlines, the global meltdown. We're observing it and figuring out how to survive it and be sovereign and free and amazing while we do it. So that's at watcherlodge.com. Before we wrap it up, want to thank our mods and our meme smiths who help mod down the fort for us and keep things nice and orderly. Our friends, K Bean in the house. We got Just Cause, Playing Hooky, Ronnie Cole, our friend Zach Nichols, Janek, Dog Digger, Economy Pilot, Donut Mind Me, and our meme smith, Sleepy Dog Lee, Nathan NA10, Geegum Geegum, Glocky McGlock, all in the house. That, my friends, is it for us on the day before we welcome our 20 new membos. Look at these new membos coming in from Dolphin Fan. Is the man in the house, bringing in Julie O, Northern Lights, Colette D, Cat Black, Nick D, JL, NY. We got Linda, Holly K, Donna N, David M, Holy F is here, Karen O, Beautifully Inappropriate, Amiana, Golden Gaming's here, Don D, Adam N, Captain Flat-tastic, Lao Zoo is here, Judy O, and Laura shouting out, Dolphin Fan is the man in the house. 20 new membos. Very grateful to Dolphin for bringing them all in. Thank you, Dolphin. We also had, is this another one? Oh, I think it's the same one. Okay, very cool. So this is making sure we got all these. Yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. And we had a couple of other donos over on the locals. And so let me make sure that we got these ones before we wrap it up. On the day, we are going over to locals. We had a couple comments. Let's see who's over here. Lady Ice, BH Williams, and Dahook. Dahook might be answering another question. Says, I believe it was Harrison's lawyer who asked Fulton County for signature verification records, and they admitted that they never verified signatures during the certification. Oh, yeah, I remember that clip. Yes, I remember that clip. even though they paid $1 million for the signature verification machines. Yes, we did cover that. Yeah, there was that clip. It was on a prior show. I can't remember what else we talked about that day. And there was also that city council meeting, wasn't there? It was a city council meeting. There was one gentleman. Yeah, I remember that. You're right. I remember that, Dahug. B.H. Williams says, regarding Bill Gates, never forget in 2004, he promised to get rid of spam by the end of 2006. It's only gotten worse. Yeah, Bill Gates. It's terrible. Lady I says, I don't know why they act like having alternate electors is some kind of evil ploy to steal an election when they're part of the process. And isn't it literally spelled out in some guidelines or under what circumstances you could want them and how to go about it? Well, I think it was an argument at the time, right? It was an argument that they were following the Hawaii precedent that the Democrats used to anchor in their position so that if there is a recount, if there is a reversal, they don't lose their position, right? They're acting as though they won in case they ultimately did win. It's a placeholder, that's all. But my friends, that is it for us on the day. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Of course, this is the address. And we would love to see you back over there. And we are going to be back here tomorrow morning for our members. And if you can't join us over on Locals, no problem. We'll be back here tomorrow for the regular show as well. At the same time, same location, same place. And when we do come back, we are going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Make it a great week ahead. See you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.